Good evening. Welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. And it is Wednesday, November 3rd. And to some of my viewers out there, to Kevin, yes, I'm going to do a show on what I think of what's happening in Afghanistan and what's going on in the world today, besides Walton County and the fishbowl of corruption that we have here locally. I'm going to talk about some national issues and people that don't know my background. I've spent about 35 years working for the Department of Defense, and I've been to lots of interesting countries and met lots of interesting people, and may some of them rest in pieces, you know. And that's my opinion on most foreign policy. But we got a shit show going on in America. It's unbelievable. Y'all like filling up? Hey, if you're a Democrat and you're watching my show, if you're not rich, do you really think that every time you go to the grocery store and every time you go to the gas pumps, you spend an extra $20 or $40? Do you really think that's helping middle class Americans? Y'all are nuts. Listen, this kind of federal government we got going on is going to destroy this country if we don't stand up. Virginia looks like it might have been the first go for a wake-up call, but it ain't about being a Republican or being a Democrat. It's really about being an American. This is just un-American what our government's doing and some of the policies and the things that they're allowing to go on and the basic laws that aren't being enforced in America. You see a massive wave of people headed here because we've told the world that we're mall cops. We've got Paul Blart down there on the southern border going, stop, don't come here, or we'll yell, stop again. It ain't gonna work. We'll need a whole show to cover that. But so we'll roll right into local bullshit. If y'all watch my show on how to save 15 million, man, I had an interesting round of events, didn't we, Peter? Peter Russell, the owner, and I don't know the guy. I ain't got an axe to grind with him. I wouldn't know if he walked up here on the street. Not particularly controversial that I'm or some guy with a piece of property, but that doesn't matter if he's Peter, Paul, or Mary. The issue is we need the BCC if they're going to get an appraisal of the Russell property to get two appraisals. One is the whole thing, and then the other is the 85% of it that's unbuildable. We need two separate appraisals because Peter wanted to talk in circles about that online. Want me to call and talk in private, but really this ain't Alan's money. This is everybody's. This is tax money from tourists. If we're going to blow it all, ain't no use in talk about it in private. I think that's how we got to this deal. But anyway, moving on from the public land purchase, how to save 15 million. Y'all go watch that show, and it's pretty obvious. We need some more discussion before we commit to that kind of crazy money on some unbuildable property. Larry's departure. I don't think I've had a show since the meeting where Larry resigned, but you know, that was the most scripted thing. And Danny acted like he didn't know what was going on. He needed to read it. He's had his nose glued to Larry's ass. And what's happened is exactly what I said was going to happen back, you know, in late summer there, when all that shit went down with Stan. Oh my God. Larry just paved the way of how he was going to leave and not be held responsible too. There's a lot of things coming to a head. I'm going to cover some of them. That land purchase was a contract that Larry brought to the board. Everybody, oh, well, Larry's supposed to bring things like that to the board. Well, why didn't Larry bring the board some options like eminent domain? Why didn't he really discuss how much of the property was buildable? And who the hell was with Larry when that all was laid out? Larry already had issues that they knew needed to be investigated. He regularly had broke policy with Stan leaving. And not, like I said, he was just setting precedents for his own unassing of the seat. And that's what's happened. So Larry's leaving. Nobody's going to investigate him. Nobody's going to question, was the county things that, I've got a list of things that need investigating. One of them was, why was Larry and the staff running lists and putting the citizens on it with no due process? And since when do we spend money to have citizens sued by other agencies and track their personal life with tax dollar funds? You know, did Larry help approve did he cover up what Stan was doing and all that crap with Bobby Martin? Did he cover that up too? Did he help fire some employees for trying to enforce the law? And I'm just going to go into some other things that Larry was involved in. as we get. But Larry's leaving. But the problems that he created are still here. And we're watching a massive struggle for the power that Jones wielded upon this county, because around here, greed drives the train. So Larry's departure, who's in charge? Well, Larry says he's staying on to the end of the year. And that's so he can stack the skeletons and get out the super glue the best he can and slam that door shut and give Dee Dee directions, her marching orders of how long she can keep this shit covered up. But there's some, whether Stan's here, and Stan's all still on our payroll. Stan needs to be investigated. A lot of stuff went down there with Mr. Stan of what was going on. And I'll go over that and some more of that. Things that should be investigated. Stan's departure. All those things. What happened at the meeting? Is that lawyer going to sue over boots and stuff? There's a lot of stuff. They are covering up poop like cats in a litter box. I mean, it's going at it. So who's in charge? So Dee Dee's going to be in charge, and this massive smoke screen of them looking for somebody. We went through this when we found Larry. We looked all over the world. We made up some crap on some guy and fired him. And the only person that was really qualified to be the administrator of Walton County was Larry Jones in Mossy Head, because he was the master of the skeletons and an obvious ringleader to get out there and cover the crap up. Like I said, you can't make it up. So now with Clay as an interim, we're going to have an interim county attorney, an interim county administrator. Let's see, what else do we have? We got interim TDC people. So nobody can really be held responsible. The BCC can't hold anybody responsible but the administrator, who won't be here. And does that include the interim administrator? And what does Gary Madison do? Things that we can't answer in this county. So Clay's confidence. Clay's acting as our county attorney. We just found out that Clay's agency's closing some of these things. The recent closing of the Mojo building that I'll go over. Remember we bought the TDC building and we couldn't use it because it was out of compliance? Well, apparently that big, great Mojo warehouse deal that was a good deal for Walton County, apparently right after it closed, we found out it's covered in mold. We may have to tear it down. We have a habit of buying property for the good of everybody that somehow administration didn't even properly have inspected. Does every property the county buy have to find out it's got a hidden treasure like mold or rot or asbestos or you name it? Every good deal has been presented, like this unbuildable beach land for 18 million. No, listen, that goes underwater. No matter what anybody says, they admitted it. 85% of that lot in a big tropical event, underwater. I've flown over it in a helicopter, seen the whole thing. Mother Nature's going where she's going. We're never going to build on that property. You think about that. How much money that is for empty property. We need it. It's very ecologically and important to the coastal dune lakes. And we should probably buy it, but I can't see it being worth maybe $1.5 million. Maybe. I don't know even how you justify that. So anyway, I've gone over that in the other show, but things that need to be investigated, I actually have a list. Sunday's actions that led up to him leaving. Where's that planning department audit and investigation that Barker said when he got his butt first hit the seat? Larry Jones' actions, and I've already covered those ad nauseum. Who ran the list for the BCC? And for that matter, don't forget, Mike's never denied the list. Mike doesn't deny it. He just said he was unaware of it, so I sent him a copy. So between Mike and Larry and the BCC administration, who was running this list? Nobody denies it. They can. I got a copy of it. How'd I make it? How do we buy the Mojo building full of mold? Commissioners, how'd that happen? God almighty. You just can't make this shit up. There's so many upcoming lawsuits. Here's a question for you guys. When's the last time somebody reviewed the Sandestin annual report? A couple of years ago? Who said the traffic's in compliance? Have you driven, commissioners? Have you driven down Mac Bayou and see the god awful mess that's been approved down there? Destined to fail. So we've got the county attorney doing closings for the county on a building full of mold. I think he made like $6,700 on that. Listen, we just can't make this kind of stuff up. It's crazy. Clay Atkinson is so conflicted on some of this stuff and what's happened. I'm not saying he's a bad attorney. I say he's a bad attorney for Walton County. If I need somebody to stand up there and misrepresent what I'd actually done, then that's who I'd want. Clay would be one of them. But this flood, you need to watch the BCC meetings very carefully and who strings the attorneys pull and who pulls the attorney strings. This drives a lot of stuff. And when you see anybody like Matthews or Shipman or Clay talking too much without saying anything, be suspicious. Be very suspicious. And we've had an interim county attorney who's doing closings and title work for us and running the BCC and representing the Funiac Springs and representing Freeport. Now, who knows what else? There's none of it's a conflict, though. And he's picked our new legal team that he'll have to deal with when he runs back to Freeport or whatever. I don't know. You just can't make this up. Like I said, the real thing that's going to be interesting is at what level that Clay, with his potato chip bowl on his head, tries to put this guy, and you see on those online comments, this is who the Phoenix is. When you see on the visioning sites reference to the Phoenix, this is the Phoenix. See the guy blowing real hard on the kazoo? That's what he'll be doing with your tax dollars, blowing them real hard with his friends. And then he'll look like this when he gets done. He'll be so happy. So you can't make this stuff up on the Alan Osborne Show. We need some accountability. Mike's not denying many of the things I've said. He just said he's unaware. Well, I sent you copies, Mike. I'm still waiting for Corey Godwin's resume. Was he discharged honorably or generally discharged under honorable conditions? What was his MOS? What does it take to qualify to really be a veteran? And did he do those things? Just questions I want to know. Since, and hey, listen, the sheriff's department told the other day I might lose some credibility from some of the things I said. Can you imagine this guy, after what he's been caught doing, writing emails and all this other crap that he won't investigate? I don't think he's busted a single. When's the last time that you saw any? Go to a soccer field and see how many illegal immigrants we got here. We're sitting here bitching about the nation. How many has this guy put in? Arrested the whole time he's ever been here? You ever seen that in the paper? Only when they go there and start stabbing somebody or somebody comes to this country. Look, all these people that come in their country are leaving problems and bringing us problems and looking for a check. I covered that earlier, and we're going to cover national politics, but we still need this guy investigated. And the BCC is the ones that can do it, but they don't want to. And they're paying this guy and giving this guy what he wants. And this stuff's got to stop, or we'll keep getting unqualified guys like this guy, the sheriff's friends. And we'll keep getting this for an answer. Oh, I'm constipated. I don't know. This is how the things roll on the Alan Osborne Show. Clay, the BCC, it's time to have a real legal team. The CU thing is over. Stop spending money on it. Admit that there was a bunch of lies told on that. This code enforcement stuff is out of hand. And that's how we come to the end of the Alan Osborne Show on Wednesday, November 3rd. I ain't Walter Cronkite, but that's the way it was in Walton County. And we'll see you real soon out there. Y'all keep them straight, you hear? And if you find out something that you need to tell me, by all means, write me an email. Let me know what's going on, and I'll talk about it on the Alan Osborne.